Hello everybody, Andy here from Glass Half Dead, the #1 kill team channel on YouTube, unless of course you are of any other channel on YouTube, in which case, ignore what I said, thank you, don't look into it, that would be really awkward if you did. Anyway, let's talk about the Ravener kill team, the Tyranid, the Warhammer 40,000 Tyranids, High Fleet, I don't know, I'm just saying buzzwords at this point. Right, we got good news. Everybody. I've actually played a bunch of games with them, as I have with the Battleclade. A few more with the Raveners than the Battleclade, but I know what I'm talking about. Of course, when I say that, what I mean is I know what I'm talking about from my perspective. Who am I? An amateur kill team player. I enjoy playing. I'm not overly skilled, so I like to think I give the layman's view on the game. So if I'm wildly overestimating or underestimating a team, it's probably in relation to a slightly more beginner perspective than I think every other channel you're going to see on YouTube, perhaps. So keep that in mind. For example, I know that a lot of the top players out there will talk about these things and that you'll be watching the reviews of this weekend, no doubt, are going to be discussing things. And one thing, like, we just have hugely different values and way that we value the game. And value different teams into playing the game. So if we're talking about power level, keep that in mind. First things first, of course, is thank you to Games Workshop for sending me Typhon and as a review copy. They don't get to see what I say before I say it. They also don't care. They don't watch my channel, so it doesn't matter. In case you're wondering, so all these thoughts are my own. There you go. Right, this is going to be a video of two halves. In this first half, I'm kind of giving you my final thoughts first. I'm going on vibes. I'm telling you the aura of the team. Then I'm going to tell you the breakdown of every single rule the team has. I've done a bit of a bang-up job, I'm not going to lie. Enjoy that. If you don't want the final thoughts first, and you want to know why I'm saying this works that way, and I think that's good, that's bad, then feel free to jump to the timestamps, just see the rules for yourself, and then maybe you want to watch the final thoughts first. But I feel that a lot of people probably want the final thoughts first, so I'm putting that first. There you go. So I'm going to ramble for a little bit, like 5-10 minutes, and then I'm going to get into the nitty-gritty and just the hardcore rules of the team. This is a full overview, not just to how to play. So, lore perspective and hobby perspective. Painting them was fun. I enjoyed it. I used my spray wash bottle technique. That was great fun. This was a very quick team to paint. Lovely. Lore perspective, the massive Basilicus gun has fired. And there were Tyranids inside. That's the lore. Thumbs up. GG, GW. Lovely. And that's it. Okay, well, that was easy. So let's talk about vibes, aura, etc. So, the Raveners are a 5-model team. They are the first hyper-elite, shall we call it that, team. Oh, sorry, before we get into that, hey, if you're a subscriber to the channel, I'd like to give you a bonus. And that bonus is a big double hello. Wow, so wholesome, truly the wholesomest knows no bounds of the world of Glass Half Dead. Why would you want a double hello, and what is it? It's a pleasantry that's given to you twice, so why wouldn't you want 2 pleasantries given to you? Before we crack on with the team, just so you're aware, if you like what I do here, hey, the best thing you can do is just watch the whole video. That's awesome. You could always leave a comment, thumbs up, subscribe, all that great stuff. But also, I have a Patreon. If you want to support me there, that'd be awesome. Additionally, I have an affiliate link. If you ever buy Warhammer, I guarantee your favorite YouTuber has an affiliate link. I have Wayland Games and Element Games. If you're in the UK and you purchase using my link, it costs you nothing extra, and I get a little kickback. That's genuinely an amazing way to support your favorite content creator. If that happens to me, that'd be absolutely amazing. Thank you. Additionally, I have like equipment. This is all kill team stuff. If you are interested in this, I have links in the top comment and in the description. This is my all-in-one box. Every time I take my team out, I carry this. I have wound markers, tokens, I have objective markers. Check out all the links, it's very interesting. Cool, okay. Let's talk about vibes for the Raveners. From my experience so far, they are not as easy to play as Space Marines. Let's be clear on that. So, let's talk about the team very briefly in case you haven't seen anything. They are 5-man team, 3 APL, 20 wounds, 7-inch move. That's a great stat line, am I right? And you know what? Here's a little tip. You're going to also be healing D3 every time they activate. And any time an enemy hits you in melee, on a 5-up, they're going to take damage. 1 damage. That's pretty solid, isn't it? You know what? turn off rerolls within 3 of your leader, interrupt when they move within X of your tunnel. Really, really good shooting. Again, this guy pops up and can poison. This guy, Crusher, he can, firstly, damage reduction on both normals and crits for 4 or more, and Crusher ability. Every time you strike in melee, you roll a dice, and if you roll higher than your opponent, you do up to 3 damage extra, turning you from a 4-5 to whatever that is plus 3. I'm not a mathematician, okay? I can't figure that out on the fly, but every model here is strong. Oh, I suppose we should talk about very briefly the team loadout. No, that's going to come later, isn't it? This is vibes. So it's not as easy to play as Marines, even though you are 20 wounds healing D3 every activation. Crazy as it may sound, because in Kill Team these days, we need rerolls. You need consistency. A reroll, unfortunately, is the most powerful thing in the game. It sucks that that's the case. That's the game they've decided to make. It is what it is. So if I, as a Ravener, charge into a Space Marine and I have no rerolls, and the Space Marine has up balance because they paid for that ploy, which they get always, and they get the ability to double block thanks to Dueler, which they will take, obviously. They get Rending. They also get Tilting Shields to turn off any ult crits I get. That Space Marine wins that melee every time, basically. So you have to figure out, how do you keep your rerolls? And how do you keep your consistency? And that is what's going to make this team worse than Space Marines, but also have a little bit of crunch to them. As a new player, I think you are going to really enjoy this team because you don't have to be consistent. If you're a new player, this team is going to do very well at just charging into things and killing them. And that's great. But you will then die and the enemy will outscore you. I think that's brilliant for a new player. That is good. Whereas a Space Marine will charge into an enemy, kill them, not die, and then win on VP. And I think elites are too strong. I think these, however GW's done it, have been very well balanced to feel good to play and then not automatically win. I really like what we have here. I don't know if it's because there are only 5 models. I don't know if it's because they've removed their consistency with rerolls, but they've done a very good job. Let's quickly talk about Tunnel. I'll tell you how it mechanically works in the next section when we're reading through the rules together, but you're a 7-inch move team with APL 3. That means you're pretty damn fast. You don't really have much shooting though, so you're not move dash shooting. That's not going to do much for you. So the way this team works is you want to, and gets consistency, is you want to stay on your tunnel. Your tunnel is an ability that moves 5 inches every turn, and that's it. And so if you want to be good, you have a 5-inch move every turn, and you can't move beyond that. If you want to be fun, and just speed all over the board, and just kill a bunch of stuff and then get killed in return, you're an incredibly fast, agile team. The other trick with this team is that when you are doing that massive pop out of the ground, so you've got your rerolls up, you make the charge, you fight, awesome, you are not an APL 3 team. You're an APL 2 team. And that's, I think, the crux of the problem with this team. To get your consistency, you would burrow, which is an ability that you have that lets you come onto the board out of your tunnel. You could then charge, but it's only a 7-inch charge, which is fine, that's enough. That will give you balanced because you burrowed. And let's be honest, the enemy can't hide from you the entire game. So you've got your consistency there because you burrowed, but then APL 2 team, because your guys will always have to spend an APL to burrow. And burrow isn't giving you it, it's just putting you on the board. So if you're thinking of an APL 3 team, this team's pretty good. But really, this is an APL 2 team for one of your turns. And that's a big issue. You're not getting double kills. Obviously, you then have to think about how effective counteract is. In the new edition, counteract is very strong. So you are able to counteract. You're able to counteract both on conceal and like you can hide with it. You can pop up with it. You can flip your order if you go from engage to conceal. So that's why I say there is another step up beyond noob scrub player, where I charge and then I think, oh, I'm only an APL2 team. Whoops, because I've made a bad charge. And I get the kill, and then I'm just stood in the open, and the enemy gets to kill my guys, right? So that's my experience. They're a very fragile team because of their 5 models. But there's a next level up that I think once you get to grips with this team, you're going to really start to see better plays with them. And so I think they're a great team for beginners because you get to just charge forwards, have fun, everyone's loving life. Because you're having fun killing and the enemy's having fun killing you and winning on VP. There's the next step up when you start to play a little bit smarter and you can take them from that beginner mindset to a top tier tournament grinder mindset. Grinder? We're all on grinder, we know what that is obviously, but I think this is going to be a really good new players team. I don't want to say beginners team. You will start as a beginner. This is a team that I believe will be able to take you from beginner all the way along to expert, and I think they're going to be really good. Now they do have some tough matchups. It is what it is. Every team does in the current edition of Kill Team. There's no win-all team, right? They're due to how breakpoints work and how strong some of the teams are and how lethal the game is. Some teams, if you go into them, are just going to beat you. Why do I say all of this? Let's get into the actual rules themselves. We're going to cover the faction rules. We're going to cover all of the strat ploys, all of the equipment, all of the data sheets. And of course, at some point, the rules will be free. Normally, they go free in the app and on Warcom as a PDF the Wednesday before release, currently the 14th of June. So therefore, these release 2 weeks later, the 30th, at a guess. And so therefore, the Wednesday before, 27th-ish, these will already be on Warcom on the PDFs. Excellent. In fairness, they've probably already leaked fully. That's normally how this stuff works, but whatever. They're out now in this video, at least. So enjoy, let's get to the rules, get cracking. Okay, and we're straight into the Ravener's Kill Team operative selection and archetypes. And of course, you can see all of the models there, although of course the way I've painted them is far superior. Anyway, you are a 5 model team, I'm sure you get that by now. You have to take your Prime, which is your leader, then you have the option of 4 specialists and or a warrior. If you build a warrior with this kit, you are then not building a specialist. It is a 5 model kit. And I'm going to let you know now, never build the warrior. I genuinely can't see why you would take it. When it comes to archetypes, you are Infiltration and Seek and Destroy. In the current approved ops, Infiltration is a very, very weak archetype. Don't take Infiltration. It just doesn't work with an elite team, so you're basically a Seek and Destroy team. Right, we then get to the faction rules. This is the key that you need to know to how this team works, gets their consistency, etc. Also, we can see what I've decided to do for the rules. You can read the rules, as you see there. I've done my best to not cover them up, but I've also then just put a very quick bullet point on what it actually means. So, you must start with 2 of your operatives on the board. Everybody else, so the other 3, can either start on the board or, if they wish to, underground, so off the board. Burrow, you can see the burrow 1 AP action there. You perform the action, which allows you to enter or leave the board. However, to perform the burrow action, you must be on the tunnel, which will make sense when we read tunnel. You also have predatory instincts. This is like your Space Marine rule. This is your Astartes rule. It allows you to fight twice. You can burrow for free as long as you haven't done a mission action, and you can change your order. You can change your order as part of your counteract, or it can be the only thing you do in a counteract. Cool, right, we then get tunnel. You have a tunnel marker that begins at the back of the board edge. Don't forget, a tunnel marker is 20 mil. Okay, 20 mil, slightly under an inch. Every turn, you, as a strategic gambit, can place the next tunnel marker. It has to be sequential, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can place that marker wholly within 5. Wholly within is very important, because if it was just within, you'd basically get an extra inch on every turn, but you do not get that. Okay, let's be clear on that one. You get 5-inch tunnel move every turn. There's no way to cheat that. There is no other rule here that it gives you additional move on your tunnel. It is simply every turn your tunnel marker moves 5 inches. They have to be placed sequentially, so 1 must be connected to 0, 2 must be connected to 1 and not 0, 3 must be connected to 2 and not 0 or 1, etc, etc. There you go. Lovely. This is the absolute key. I'm going to let you know now as we get into the rest of the rules. A lot of your rules are based on you being on the tunnel or having burrowed. So if you are not on the tunnel, and if you have not burrowed, you're kind of freewheeling. You're raw dogging your entire dice rolling. Strategic ploys, death from below. All of your melee attacks when fighting, not when retaliating. That is a big issue. Keep that in mind. If you have burrowed this turn, you get balanced. If you are on the tunnel, you get ceaseless. Whipcord emergence. All of your defense rolls, so when you're being shot. If you have burrowed, you get balanced. If you have tunnel, you get ceaseless. Writhe out of sight. Select one of your operatives. You get to form a free burrow, including a 2-inch fallback or move if you need to get onto the tunnel first, which is nice. So as you can I'll read the next one. Tunnel lurkers. If you're on the tunnel, that tunnel gives you light terrain unless the enemy is within 2 inches of you. So as you can tell right there, everything means if you want to do a strategy ploy, you better be on the tunnel. That is the real challenge of this team. Right, we then get to firefight ploys. Slithering evasion, fullback for 1 AP, and you can charge out of control. I think there's definitely a bit of play here. So really, I think the way this team plays a nice defensive game is you are either very slow and very static, waiting for your tunnel to catch up with you, or you do some mad crap with slithering evasion, and but you do need to hide in melee. That is a big thing. You have very poor defense if you're being shot. Slithering evasion is kind of your thing you can do to stay in safety. There you go. Right, subterranean horror. If you're on the tunnel, you get to fight first. That is, of course, really good. Burrowing strike, D3+1 when you burrow into control range. So if the enemy is foolish enough to get within, 40 mil plus 1 inch control range of your tunnel, you're gonna smash them. And death frenzy. If you do die and they're in your control range, you can do D3 damage, unless you're using a very specific model, in which case it'd be 2d3. Excellent. We then get to the dudes. So I'm going to quickly jump to the warrior so we can see the most basic profile. You are APL 3, 7-inch move, 5 up save, 20 wounds. Everybody basically has the same weapons. You have a tail, which is a bolter, but with range 3 silent. And then everybody has scything talons, which is a chainsword. So 5 attacks, killing on 3s, 4/5. Cool. But then they all have a little bit extra that makes them slightly different and have a different role. The reason you will not take the warrior is their special is that if the enemy has fallen back or is wounded, you get lethal 5. Now lethal 5 is very nice, but you're really looking to kill things in one. Right, we get the Ravener Prime. So addition to your bolter, your pincer tail, you actually have a tail blade, which is just exactly the same, but it's rending. Likewise, your scything talons and rending claws are exactly the same, chainswords, but you get rending. You have just a natural ability, which is you turn off rerolls within 3 inches, turn off enemy rerolls within 3 inches, and you get +1 AP to the mission action. Your opponent must spend an additional AP to perform mission actions. We then get Synaptic Link, which is a strategic gambit. Roll a d6, gain a CP, or take damage. So it's related to the turning point number. If it's turn 1, if you roll higher than the turning point number, you gain a CP. If you roll equal to, nothing happens. If you roll less than, you take damage equal to the dice result, which means the most damage you could ever take from this is 3 damage. Is that right? I feel like that might be wrong. No, 3 damage, and that could only happen on turn 4. But there you go. In general, you're going to gain a CP. We then get the Fell Talon. You have a slightly better tail in the sense of it's range 6, and it has poison. Poison is if you deal damage with a crit, so you do have to resolve that attack dice. You can't just roll the crit. It's not on retain, it's on damage. You get D3 damage, which procs when the enemy activates. That's a really good thing to happen. It means that you don't need to kill the enemy for them to possibly die. And we've all seen it happen, I'm sure. They take damage when they activate. So they still have to activate, but then they immediately die. They basically just straight up lose an activation. It's incredibly strong when it happens, and it will happen with this team a few times. You then also get Toxic Lunge, which is D3 plus 2 damage, plus they take poison, which is, so really it's 2 D3 damage plus 2. And you get to do the Toxic Lunge if they are within 2 inches of this operative, or this operative is on the tunnel, or in the tunnel, or they are on the tunnel. Yeah. We then get the Ravener Tremor Scythe. This guy's regular weapons. However, you have an interrupt, and you can charge from concealed. So the subterranean ambush rule there, that's a lot of words, but it's a 2-inch interrupt. There you go. If the enemy moves to within 2 inches of your tunnel, you can interrupt their activation, and you get to activate. So you get your 3 APL. So you could burrow, fight. If they are that close to your tunnel, you'd have Ceaseless. That's when you really pop off. Right, we then get the Venom Spitter, which is, again, this is your ranged guy. So your pistols are range 8s. They're not really pistols at this point, but and you can get, one is Blast 2 with a 3-5 profile, one is Piercing 1 with a 4-5 profile, and they both have poison, which is exactly the same as the Fell Talon poison. You can also, for 1 AP, distend your dorsal sac. This means that you gain lethal 5 and +1 attack dice to both of your Venom Bolt profiles, and you gain the full range, so you cannot, so you're not limited to 8 inches. When this distending of dorsal sacs leaves either when you next shoot or when you next burrow. So the reason I put can't burrow there, you can burrow, but you will lose your distended dorsal sacs. Just keep that in mind. The Warrior, we don't need to cover, he sucks. Cool. The Wrecker, this guy's an absolute menace. So, Bone Mace, 4 attacks hitting on 3s, 3-4, range 3. So basically it's a standard tail, but it's piercing 1. Very nice, I like it. And then we get the Scything Talons and Crushing Claws. So you are the same as everybody else, 5 3s, 4 5, but you have Crush. Before we get to Crush, you also have damage reduction. Normal and crit damage of 4 or more is 1 less. That means, for example, if a Space Marine, standard, assault intercessor charging into you, they're not 4-5, they're 3-4, and that is such a nerf to their damage. It's really, really good. It really goes to show you just how tight these breakpoints are. A 20 wound model that heals D3 every activation, changing everybody from a 4-5 to a 3-4 is really strong. Even if this guy didn't have this Crush ability, which I'm about to read, this guy would still be a mandatory take just because of the damage reduction. However, Crush is that when you're in melee, every time you strike, you and your opponent roll off. If the enemy is 9 wounds or less, you get +1 to your roll. And then you deal the dice difference damage. Basically, you can +3 damage to every roll, hypothetically, and that's a bit of fun for you. So instead of being 4-5, you are potentially 7-8. It is obviously a dice roll with no bias towards you. So it's 50-50 about whether or not it happens statistically, unless of course the enemy is 9 wounds or less, in which case you should get it, but there you go. So very cool, very cool. Which brings us finally to the faction equipment. You have, I can say it, hold on, Chromatospore Camouflage. If you could retain 1 cover save, you can retain 2. Considering that you are 5-up saves, this is very good. Retaining 2 is very strong. Metamorphic Flesh, every time you activate, heal D3. It's really good. It's mandatory pick. Acid Blood, every time you get struck in melee on a 5-up, the enemy takes 1 damage. You have 20 health, so minimum you're going to be able to roll this 4 times, which means they should take 1 damage statistically. But that's only if they're like getting 5 damage through each time. So you would hope that ultimately this is going to do 2 damage to an enemy, throughout the course of the game, every time they hit you, throughout the life of each Ravener. And then you got to look at the enemy. What is that actually doing to them? And to the breakpoints. You're a 4-5 damage team. You kind of want to be taking this into 10 wound teams, I would say. So Felgors, Commandos, etc. I think this is pretty strong. It's not going to help you outside of that, but also you then want to think about for the lower teams, like for example for Eldar, yes, they're 8 wounds, so this doesn't do anything to your break points if you think about your melee, but it does help you if you're thinking about your tails, which are 3-4. And additionally, because you have your poison abilities and your toxic lunge, etc., you are going to be getting chip damage relatively often. And so I suspect that there is a way to play this team that doesn't go full send melee and tries to play with chip damage a bit more. I haven't done that myself. I don't think that would work, but maybe it's there if you're playing a slower team that focuses more on staying underground. Anyway, when they get heightened senses, an enemy within 5 inches, if there is an enemy within 5 inches of a tunnel, you get to reroll the initiative. Keep in mind that the tunnel only gets put down in the strategic gambit phase, so that is after you will have rolled for initiative. So really that means, has an enemy really pushed forwards, or you might get this turn 3. In reality, you're not getting this turn 1 and 2. There you go. And that is everything, I think. Oh, there you go. Randomly, this is the thumbnail for my narrative battle report. Can you tell it was inspired by anything? Anyway, let's also take a quick look over here. That's the artwork for the Raveners. That looks nice, doesn't it? And that's my team taken on a white screen for some reason. Because I just bought a photo box. Cool. Alright, well thank you for watching everybody. Let's get back to the studio. Coming back to you here at the end, everybody, thank you so much for watching. I hope you found that interesting. If you chose to check out the rules, the mechanics themselves first before dropping back to the final thoughts, jump back to that now. Thank you. If not, thanks so much for watching. Please check out all of my other videos on this channel, especially the one that I spent far too long editing, which was on my other channel, Tactical Skew. I did a Ravener versus Battleclade narrative battle report. Check that out, that'd be awesome, thank you. And additionally, check out my affiliate links and all of my equipment, gear links, and you get money off for all of that. So that'd be awesome. All right, thank you everybody, have a good one. See you in the next video.